Excited. That's good enough. So let's begin with a word. Right? Lord, we thank you for sharing. We thank you for this gathering. We thank you for the many ways that she touched our lives. We ask your blessing on this time that we remember together. We give thanks for the memories and experiences of life that we share with her. We ask you that you, Lord, would be lifted up in this afternoon, because we know that's what she would want most of all. And we ask this in the name of Jesus. Amen. As you probably know, Sherry really loved music. She loved all kinds of music. And so we thought we would maybe start together by singing a very traditional hymn. And it was well with my soul, well with many people's play. So the words are in your program. And so let me go on the front.
Can the people on Zoom hear okay? Shake your head. Hard to hear. No. Okay. Your view is better. So,
it is a little bit echoey.
okay, let me change something. Sorry, guys. Say something. Say something. Hang on. How about now? Can you guys hear us better now?
Good thumbs up.
Give us a thumbs up if you can hear us better now. Yes.
Yes.
Hi. Great. Hi, everybody. All right.
It's great that we have the technology that people can't be here to show it.
And it's great to have somebody who knows how to do it.
Yeah.
Not me, us.
It's like a when we start I see
I know.
shall be sung. The clouds feel back as a snow. The trumpet shall sound, and the Lord said, even so, it is well with my soul. It is well. Now Sherry's sister Carol is going to come up and read scripture.
Not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, you believe also in me. My Father's house has many rooms. If that were not so, would I have told you that I am going there to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, that you may also be where I am.
We wanted to have some people that know Sherry well, come up and share a little bit about their community, their lives, living life with her. So Casey and then JJ, James, and Cece, going to come up with that word and share. And then after I start, Diane is going to follow that with a poem that she wrote. And so, Casey. Yeah.
Okay. People on Zoom, can you hear me okay? Yes.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm sure my mom appreciates this as well. And I don't know, I really feel her presence with us today through all of you. And I appreciate that very much. I'm just happy everybody's here. I'm sure she's anyway, I just want to take a couple minutes. First of all, I don't think she wanted me to spend too much time on this, but I do want to. There's a time for everything, and I think we need to recognize that this has been a huge loss. You know, for me, for everybody in this room, for the world. I mean, those are difficult shoes to fill, and she wouldn't want us to spend too much time on it, but you know, this is hard. And I remember when she first hit her head, and she's in the hospital, and she took a minute. I'll never forget that I think she kind of knew that was the beginning of the end for her. She sat there and she said, "Oh, what a bummer. What a bummer deal." And it really was. I mean, a fluke thing like that, and she deteriorated and went so quickly. But, you know, that's life, and she wouldn't want us to dwell on that. She would want us to move forward with joy. So I was sitting here thinking, you know, how do you honor a person like my mom? And I just thought, you know, we live our lives, the way we live our lives sort of gives out a message that we want to portray to the world. So I thought I'd just reinforce what I see as my mom's message, because I believe that she effectively lived her message, and that we all got a little piece of it. We're all better for it. A few words that come to mind when you think of my mom would be truth, light, kindness, love, tolerance, forgiveness, grace, dignity, understanding, knowledge, wisdom, humor, joy, diligence, humility, acceptance, hope, and family. My mom, as everybody else that had troubles in her life, that she embraced her troubles and the sorrows and sad things, and it gave her what I would call a lifelong mission to understand humanity and the human condition. because she cared about people so much, she wanted everybody to be happy. She wanted everybody to feel loved, cared for. She wanted everybody to feel precious. That was important to her. So she constantly studied why people do things. And, when she was displeased, she would always do it from a stance of kindness. Like if you made her mad, she wouldn't, very rarely would she get angry. When she was angry, she'd say things, well, that hurts my feelings if you did that. Or, that breaks my heart that you made that choice. That's how she would choose to communicate with love and kindness. Because she wanted to learn to make herself better, to make everyone else around her better. And I feel that was her message. And she just wanted everybody to be happy, and she loved to help people. She was a non-judgmental person. She would help anybody. She'd pick people up on the side of the road. It got kind of scary for me. Being a protected nature, you find out, she gave a homeless person a ride from King Supers and got him a hotel room, but that's what she would do, and that was her thing. And we always joked about it. Like if she were to meet Charlie Manson or something, and be like, "Hey, Mom, what are you doing? You're helping this guy out," and she'd be like, "All right, can't we get him a little coat or something? He's gonna feed. He's a nice, fuzzy little man." And he, "All right, well, here's the coat, Toots." That's what she'd say. And then as he's walking away, she'd go, "That hurts my feelings that he carved that in his head into those things." Especially the tough she would say. But she taught me the things that I feel like just valuable lessons. And today, every day I'm reminded of what she taught me. But she didn't, things didn't matter. She believed in relationships. She believed in love. She believed in family. And that's what was important to her. And anything that she did have, she liked stuff too, but she liked that to make other people happy. She was impossible to gift shop for, like for Christmas and stuff. Like, they say, what do you give the person that has everything? What do you give the woman that if you would give it to her, she would give it to somebody who needed it more? That was very hard. Anyway, she taught me what was truly important in life. And I feel like she walked the walk and she lived that life. Her philosophy was brilliant, love each other, treat each other with kindness and respect, and make everybody feel important. And I just think in today's world where it seems common to just kind of take care of yourself, I think that her philosophy was brilliant. And just to honor her, I want to remember that every day. And I think that she wouldn't want us to dwell. She wouldn't want us for 1 minute to be sad. Like a lot of people, it'd be easy to say, boy, I wish she would have done this or gave her more time for herself. And it'd be very easy for me to say that, she wasted time on me and I wish I could be there for her, but she would not have us do that for 1 minute. I don't believe right now she felt like she wasted a second of her life. And she would want us to go together with gratitude and joy and love each other and celebrate this day. And I want to do my very best to honor her and do that for the rest of my life, because I feel very honored that she was my mom. And anyway, thanks for everybody for being here.
I'm Jamie, I'm Sherry's daughter, and I'm playing CTO of the technology officer of the event here. It's no surprise that a lot of us wanted to share today, so I promise I'll be quick as 7 bunnies. That was a mom. Do everything that's measured by big bunnies. There's so many momisms. Like shaving a haircut, which of course she didn't coin, but she customized it to cost 6 bits instead of 2. I'll never forget when Roger Rabbit came out in that movie. The villain is trying to coax Roger out of hiding, and he goes, and a tune can never resist 6 bits. And then she would always say, a tune can never resist. Mom was fun. For anyone here that was lucky enough to be a kid in her life, and being her kid was something special. When we were very young, she had all the neighborhood kids playing in the backyard, and they would train to scramble out of the back gate when the garage door was opening, because that meant my dad was at work. Later, I remember piling into our 1984 Toyota Tercel in clown car fashion. You'd get really in trouble for how many kids without seatbelts were in that car back then. We'd be on our way to Funplex, or Elitch's, or the mall, or Cinderella City to record karaoke, because back then it wasn't cool to do it in bars yet. Not that she would take it to bars, but yeah. Back then you actually had to go to a mall and put in a tape and recorded your karaoke. She took us on many of those adventures. We'd all laugh on the way back and we'd yell the wrong callbacks to her song Sweet Violets as we made our way to her beloved Dairy Queen first. On our way back through the neighborhood, she'd stop the car right before two large speed bumps and demand we all scream as we drove over each one. And afterwards, she'd stop the car, shaking her head in disappointment, reverse back over them because we can do better than that. Some days we'd go back and forth over their speed bumps like 5 or 6 times before she was satisfied with her. Another momism was to fill the spaces of love, attention, and security for our friends. We were the house with always prepared Kool-Aid and junk food that everyone flocked to after school. And later we became the house that took in young people and needed stability. As teenagers, no fewer than 3 friends of ours lived with us for some period of time. And going through her things, I found an old letter written to her from a childhood friend of mine. In it, he writes, "I was going through some rough times and you helped me a lot. All the times you have taken me out, driven me places, but most of all when we talk and share what's going on in the world and how God is directing us all." Mom dutifully dedicated her life to that work that God gifted her to do for him. She was living proof of unconditional love, and in her service, she consistently brought hope to the hopeless. She delighted in all shapes and sizes of humanity. I had imagined this day a number of times, mostly with Mom and her utmost approval of handing out her hats and linky things, making sure everybody's sufficiently sparkling. But planning today and standing here today is like really surreal. Anyone who has lost a mom, and especially a daughter, can attest to the poignancy of the one person who could soften the edge of the grief of the one you are grieving, and it turns out she's the one I'm grieving. Having to experience the rest of my life's triumphs and challenges without the encouragement of my mom's voice has been really difficult for me to wrap my head around. Amazingly, she prepared me even for that. At one point in her final week, she noticed the tears in my eyes, smiled, and told me, "You're my joy," as she would often say to her children. She touched my face and she gifted me with her tender expression of Mom's reassurance, and I can see it now forever etched in my brain, and reminded me, it's gonna be okay. I know it is, Mom. Thank you, and I love it. Thank you. As many of you know, I'm going to introduce Jamie. So as many of you know, 30 years ago, we were blessed with the opportunity to merge our family with another one all the way on the other side of the world. We met the Gardners through an exchange program, and Roz and Lyle have been my mom and dad ever since, just as Sherry was mom to my sisters, Jamie and Natalie. So joining us live from tomorrow morning in Australia, I'm gonna switch give me a second to switch the monitor here to Jamie, who would also like to share a few words of her many adventures with Mom. Give me one sec. Give it a shot.
Give it a shot. Give it a shot.
My name's Jamie. This is my mom. Australia, and my dad would like to say a few things.
Hi everybody, great to be with you, and despite the sad occasion, it does bring back some very happy memories of a member of our family, and that, of course, was Sherry. She came to us in 1994 as a visitor, but for the next 20 odd years, she was in fact a family member. Whatever function we had here, she was here. She had a great knack of getting out on that plane and having to stop over to the every now and again.
I'm so sorry, you guys, we can't hear what you're saying, so give us we had some technical difficulties. Hang on one sec.
Okay, you hear that, Sherry? Okay, I should say.
Working? Is that working now? Okay, we got it. Okay.
Okay, we're just, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, we, all of our major functions, family functions, Sherry was here. She spent a Christmas day with us. All the graduations of the girls and birthdays and all the major events, Sherry was with us. She was real part of the family. And of course, I know she was American, but really she wanted to be Australian. Whenever I picked her up on the station, and she used to get the train out from the city to our place. She enjoyed the trip out there. She could see the views and so on. And I picked her up at the station. But she always got into my side of the car, which is the driver's side. You guys driving the wrong side over there. So she was very keen to drive us, but I never allowed her to do that, actually, as it turned out. And of course, when she was here on Sundays, there was a wonderful radio station here, the ABC, which had a show called Macca on Sundays. It's very much Australian, and she loved listening to all the Australian stories, and particular one where I remember an ambulance driver rang in to say hello, and he happened to be taking a patient to the hospital, and he got the patient to talk. And the patient told Macca that he was on the way to the hospital because he chucked a wobbly. And Sherry could never understand what all that meant, and I'd explained it with great length that chucked a wobbly in Australia means having a heart attack. But that's how it was with Sherry. She was very keen to hear all our little odds and ends and so on and become part of it, so she did. And of course, it was a great thing when she arrived over here because we were the envy of all our family and neighbours because we had the latest movies all the way from China. $1 movies, they hadn't hardly even hit the cinemas here, but we had them on our TV screen. So thanks to Sherry, and of course she brought all these funny hats with us, as we all know, and everything she opened, it sparkled. And the whole place always lit up when Sherry was here. That's the type of person she was to us. And of course, we visited you all in 1997, and she took us on a Wild West tour around 4 states, and she drove all the way, and it was a fantastic time we had. We went and saw the Grand Canyon, and JJ was with us, of course, and Roz and Natalie and so on. It was a wonderful occasion, and we still recall those with great fondness. As I say, Sherry was a wonderful member of our family. She's had a wonderful life, and we bid her farewell in the best possible way. Thank you very much.
My name is also Jamie, and I'm Sherry's Australian daughter. I'm very proud to be Australian daughter. I first met Mama and JJ in July 1994 at Denver Airport, part of the Lakewood Sister Cities Student Exchange Program. And at that gate at Denver Airport was the first of many hellos and goodbyes. As any good mother would, the first place Mama took me on arriving in Denver was Dairy Queen. I'll never forget a normal school day in 1995 when Mum said to me when I got home from school that she really thought I'd better go upstairs and spend an hour cleaning my bedroom. I did not know why, but even my sister knocked on the door and checked and said, "Are you cleaning your room?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?" And then all of a sudden there was a knock at the door downstairs and big boom from Mum from downstairs, who's down there already, saying, "Hey Jay, can you get the door?" I'm thinking, trudging down the stairs, why would I get the door when I'm upstairs? They're already downstairs, and I open the door to see my mom and her best friend Cece standing at my front door in Bonnet Bay, Sydney, Australia. They've come all the way from Littleton, Colorado to surprise me. And it's a day that I'll never forget. I think the whole street heard my excitement. And it's a memory that I've never forgotten and I'll always treasure. And we may have been a long distance family, but we were always very, very close. And we had lots of adventures together. In 1995, we went on a family holiday with JJ and Keiko and Sherry to Cairns in northern tropical Queensland. It was constantly fun, apart from our teenage whining. In holiday, including many experiences such as JJ bungee jumping for the first time. And while my mum freaked out, my mom signed the waiver and just had that good old Aussie attitude. Yeah, she'll be right, won't she? Mama was always supportive of her kids like that. I remember on our holiday that both our mums were sitting with JJ and I telling us that we should go forth in our dating life and look to marry money. We were like, no, we'd never do that. And I think it's time now to say they were right. As the years went on, Mama got more and more trips to Australia and often put it down as her first bid to request to come to visit us. And we got to almost see her every 2 months for a while, which was always fun. And there were always sleepovers at the Hilton and the Marriott and definitely hotels that I couldn't afford. So it was always quite exciting catching up with Mama. One of my favourite memories of spending catch-ups in hotel is Mama is one special day we were at the Marriott and her best friend Chris had come over with her. And Chris was sleeping due to the jet lag and Mama quietly pulled me into the bathroom and she said, just be quiet, but I'm not sure if this is the right light or not to show you, but I've got something to show you. And immediately I went, show me your hands. Show me your hands. And there was a big, beautiful, sparkling engagement ring on her finger. And I did wake up Chris with my excited screams. We knew that was going to happen. But we just loved that she had found someone to spend her days with, that she was going to be loved by as much as we loved her. And that was a really, really exciting time for all of us to be happy for her. Some of my most favourite days of my career was when I was simply sitting at my desk in Piedmont working as an executive assistant for Accenture. And on the phone, a caller ID would come up and I'd say, I know that number from somewhere. Or I know, is it a client? Is it another EA? I'd answer the phone to a booming, hello, my daughter. And the whole office would hear me go, Mom! And everybody would know that my mum was in town suddenly and that probably don't expect too much from me the next day because we were going out to drink wine. And I can't tell you how many pubs or clubs or restaurants Mum or I immediately went out on the town to in Sydney and Newtown. But we always had fun. There was people who often remembered Mama from the times we'd been there before. She was all friendly to every person in hospitality that you've ever met. And yeah, she made so many friends along the way in Sydney. She was here for some very key milestones with our family. She met my grandfather before he passed. And I've even got photographs of her helping my mum and dad clean their house ready for auction. Yeah, Granddad's house in Arncliffe. She came to see my first purchased apartment in Newtown on the first weekend I moved in. She was here for my Year 12 graduation and my 30th birthday at a cocktail bar. She was never one to miss champagne parties like that. She bought me a wonderful t-shirt that said my mother was right about everything. She made me wear it. She was here for Natalie and Ben's wedding. And she came to see Aiden, Kai, Zach, Zara and Isla when they were all born. And most importantly, she was here to spend time with Jo when she went through her cancer treatment and towards her transition to heaven. And they were very strong friends. And we miss Jo dearly as well. There were also other important milestones we shared as a family with her when we were in the US too. And one of the best ones, I think, was when Kirsty and Sean got engaged. And Sherry was the first person they saw after that. And she was there to celebrate them accordingly in an excited fashion, just the way that we would have And we're very thankful Sherry was there for them. Everywhere you went with Sherry, it was memorable and filled with laughter. We got stuck in the lift once at the Novotel in Darling Harbour, and after 30 minutes of talking, sharing stories, singing songs, we called them for a status update, and they said it'll probably be another 15 to 20 minutes, and Sherry responded, well, we'll just be here. There was also a local discount shop around the corner from the Hilton with that booming, annoying English accent recording advertising all the affordable things they sell. Perfumes, luggage, anything you want, Australian souvenirs, $2, bargain, bargain. She became good friends with the staff in that store. She'd always pop in and see them pick up her souvenirs, and they say to her, oh, we haven't seen you for a while. Have you missed us? And she'd say, oh, no, not at all. I have this recording back at home. I play it all the time. I don't miss you. I feel like I'm really close by. So, she had a big love of flashing things and funny hats, and one day hoped to have a museum in her basement of all of the hats. We didn't quite get to that, but we did have a hat party. She brought 2, maybe 3 pieces of luggage filled with her hats over to leave with Natalie and Ben for Zara's 2nd birthday for a hat party. She couldn't make it for that hat party, unfortunately, but we had a wonderful time swapping hats and having a Mad Hatters party. And about 5 months later, when she came back and we gave the hat back to her, it was a bid where she was actually supposed to be in Mexico. Unfortunately, there was a space in Australia, so for the Australian trip, so she took it. And so she arrived with summer clothes, and it was the middle of winter for Australia, so you know we had to immediately go shopping. But she didn't have a lot of luggage with her, so she took all the hats back with her, and it was lucky because instead of doing first class, she was doing economy, and they were stuck on the tarmac at Sydney Airport for 3 hours. And of course, in Mama's special way, she just made everybody make friends because she pulled out all the hats and everybody just started talking to each other and swapped hats. And by the whole 14-hour journey, everybody had made friends and they all just wore the funny hats and talked to each other. She said it was one of the best flights she'd ever had. So I think Australia provides in that way. I always loved how when Mama was in Australia, she'd pull out her Australian wallet with the coat of arms and pull out her Monopoly money, as she'd call it. And we did a lot of Aussie type things together, such as going on the Manly ferry to Manly. And we had one year here when Sherry was here for Australia Day, we had a spectacular day on the harbour on a boat doing all sorts of Australian things for Australia Day. And it was a day that we often spoke about and like had lots of memories and talk about whenever we caught up, and she always said she wanted to do something again. My favourite quality time with Mum was when I got to spend time with her one-on-one in 2015. I got 5 days with her. We went to Denver and went outlet shopping. We went to Colorado Springs and checked out the Gardens of the Gods, which is so beautiful. And the next day she said to me, hey, do you want to go to Vegas tomorrow, honey? And I was like, can we just do that? She's like, yeah, we can do whatever we want. So the next, we went to Vegas for 23 hours and we saw a burlesque show. We had a really nice dinner. And the next day we checked out the Neon Light Museum and we went up in the Las Vegas Eye and we got to see all of Las Vegas in 30 minutes while drinking champagne in the sky. And I'm so grateful that we got to have that holiday because I don't think I'll ever go back to Vegas again. And I'm kind of thankful that it's just going to be Mum and my little adventure space and a little holiday adventure time that we had together. It's been hard that Mum has been away from us for the family for the last few years. We got to see her so often. It felt like she maybe just had an apartment around the corner, but really, you know, Denver is, you know, a good 18 hours away. So we've really missed her since she retired. And when she passed, Natalie and I both said we think we lost the kindest and the nicest person we've ever met. And although she's not physically here with us anymore, we have so many funny hats and flashing lights and beautiful handbags and jewellery from China to wear to remind us of her. And the most memorable gift that she ever bestowed upon the family was a friendly moose dressed in the perfect attire for the most wonderful time of the year, who sings a song that we as Australians never knew existed until Sherry gave us this little treasure. So although we don't have Sherry physically anymore, we will always think of her, remember her beautiful laugh, and the dulcet tones as this moose sings, Grandma got run over by a reindeer, and it rings out through the hallways of Bonnet Bay at Christmas time. And we will always love that, and we'll always think of her and smile and laugh. And I think that's the way she. Thank you.
Thanks, James. I need another thumbs up from people that you can hear us okay. I know it was echoing before. Is it still echoing? Are we okay? Can you guys hear us? Good, okay. Sorry.
So many times in my life, people have told me that I am like my Aunt Sherry. As a child, I revered her. Sherry was one of the only adults who I have ever known who lived at the very edge of things. And I really like the edge. When we went to her house, I could eat sugar cereal. I could slide down banisters, and I could even forget to brush my teeth, which was like high on the top of the list. We would go to Elitch's, Casa Bonita, to the movies. She was so silly and so alive and present with whatever we were doing. Almost too present. She would pile kids in her car and go out to ice cream and drive fast over all of the bumps, making us sing Chattanooga Choo Choo and screaming every time we hit a bump. But she was also a professional woman with a very interesting career. And she had stories about people from all over the world. She just loved people. She loved the people in the convenience stores. She loved the people who flew the planes. She found out people's stories. She solicited information from people, and people would crack wide open for her whenever she was around. And she made you feel like you were the most important person on the face of the planet. And when you were with her, she was so interested in whatever you were pursuing. And even after I had the privilege of being with her when we moved her to California and after she had hit her head. And I've been working on this album for 5 years and kind of like sheepishly showing it to people. And we'd get in the car and she'd say, "Can I hear that one song?" And I'd be like, "Which one?" She'd be like, "All of them." And that's how she was so much of my life. She was dedicated to loving people. She was incredibly complicated. And if you ever went to do something fun with her, the first half of trying to organize all the fun things to get to the fun thing could be like ridiculously annoying. And you'd be like, "Oh, why do we have to bring all the hats? Or we're just going to the pool. Do we really need all the floaty things?" You know, we have 3 wagons pulling down to the pool, and then we show up, and it isn't just for us. It's for every single person at the pool. She showed up for people in a way that very few people show up. And one of the things that one of my treasures from my time with her was actually our time when we would sit in the bathroom and she would curl her hair before she went to bed at night, or even when she'd wake up in the morning. And she would treat me like a confidant. And there were not many adults in my life at that point who trusted me. And she would tell me things that I'm like, "Oh, this is like juicy." And she helped me to know that it's okay to be messy in life, that life is messy and it's still worth it. And that was one of the things that the way that she embraced the messiness made people uncomfortable sometimes. And also it pushed us to the edge of like, what is it that we believe? What is it who do we want to be? How do we want to be in the world? And sometimes it would be frustrating that she loved everybody so much, because you had to stop for every homeless person. And you'd be like, but we're on the way to the movies. She's like, just give me 5 minutes. I'm gonna get this guy a sandwich. And one of my reflections has been like, how can I live like that? So present, seeing the things that are around me, bringing aspects of joy to every situation that I'm in. I've never met someone who could command a room like she could. She'd come in and it'd be like everything that had been happening, all the little conversations would stop because she'd make everybody sing. And she was just fun and funny and ridiculous. And that continued all the way up past bumping her head, past that she would push the envelope. And I think those places of discomfort that she solicited from people actually helped them look at where their hearts are and how they could prioritize other people in a different way. I miss her. I miss caretaking her. And it was hard. It was hard in those last moments to see her so altered and to still want to show up and be with her in those times like she had been with other people. And the last 2 years, I mean, JJ can attest, were painful, some of them. And then you'd have these like glimmer moments. Like there came a time where she couldn't go. We couldn't take her to church anymore because we didn't know what she was going to do. Which actually, if I reflect, that's probably true like her whole life. So we decided to create church in the car. So I would pick up she and Carol and we would put on hymns in the car and we would sing for an hour. We would drive all over Santa Barbara. We would look at the beautiful things. We would sing and we would talk about how good God is. And it was a common theme for her to bring it back around to that place of faithfulness. And I believe that she was one of the unique people in the world who can see God in everyone. She did not see difference. She celebrated difference. And I think in a world where there's so much division, like, can we take one step closer to embracing difference, whether it's political difference or social difference or emotional difference, and just love each other. Take some time to be silly, sing some songs, talk about worms, you know,
We'll do that every Sunday.
Yes, yeah. So Sherry, I know that you are here with us. It's evident by the fact that Disney was renewed in to try to broadcast you throughout the world. And I miss you and I love you. And I feel so fortunate to have been with you in the vulnerable spaces. And in those places of annoyance and in those deep places of joy and karaoke. I mean, I will never stop loving karaoke. And so, yes, I love you, Sherry. Thank you.
Are you there? May I interrupt we're doing this together, but. Okay, see the shirt Sherry's wearing? Yeah. Sherry wore that shirt to her retirement party, which we all went to at Cece's house. And I saw that shirt and I said, Sherry, where'd you get that shirt? She goes, we had just retired, so we're not like flying there once a week. So my very next trip back to Beijing, I bought the shirt. I found out where she got it and I bought the shirt. And then because it was Sherry's service, I thought I'd wear this shirt. And somebody said, wear something colorful. And look, so I want you to know that I didn't steal Sherry's shirt, but I did admire her shirt and I went and bought it. It's my own shirt. Okay, good. That's just a little throw in there for some laughter.
For me.
Oh, I'll go get you one.
So recently, I realized that I've known Sherry for 59 years, a lifetime. And I am so thankful for every moment I spent with her. It was pure joy. She was such a happy person, as you all know. But she did not keep this happiness to herself. Her heart was wide open and she invited everyone in. No one was left out. Strangers on the street, in stores, McDonald's, and of course, children. Oh my gosh. Every child she came across was immediately enchanted by her. And if you wanted to be a grouch or just left alone, it didn't take her long to pry you open and coax that silliness inside of you to come out and play. Inclusive, unconditional, non-judgmental, and most importantly, Christian. These beautiful, meaningful words describe Sherry as she truly was. She was the best, very best Christian possible. Hands down, best Christian I've ever known or hope to know. And she was my friend. How did I get so lucky? How did you get so lucky? Yes, she was my best friend, but of course she was also everybody else's best friend. Well, why not? Why wouldn't she be everyone's best friend? That inclusive, unconditional, non-judgmental love, that is best friend material. Best mom material as well. Our career was wonderfully adventuresome and exciting for us. We loved and enjoyed every moment, just like Royden, her dad, said we would. We started out in New York City, then transferred to Chicago, then came home to Denver. We flew together as much as we could, and the jumbo jets required about 10 best friend flight attendants. Our passengers were comfortable, good-sized seats made a difference. And they were very well taken care of and very happy, especially if Cher was on the flights, of course. And of course, you know, there was a lot of singing going on and maybe even dancing in the aisles sometimes. The jump seat was often a therapy session where we settled family disputes, figured out disciplinary tactics for our lovely children, and solved the problems of the day. And because so many of our friends were similar in age, most of us started our families in the mid-70s. And fortunately for us, United had a very nice, lucrative market in turnaround flights to the East Coast. These were flights that went out to Boston, New York, Washington, turned around and came back to Denver in one day. This packed a lot of flight time in that one day, thus enabling us to have schedules with lots of days off and no need for overnight or layovers, which worked very nicely for moms and families. So how did Sherry and I find such an incredible job? Well, I'll tell you. I met Sherry at CSU in Fort Collins in the spring of 1964. It's a long time ago. We were both running out of funds to continue our college education in the fall. And I was not eager to go back to Rocky Ford, the melon capital of the world, as some of you may know. A small town 50 miles east of Pueblo, where I knew the only jobs available would be at the fast food dairy treat or A&W root beer stand. And as we were contemplating our dilemma, Sherry says, well, just come to Denver with me. You can share my room, we'll find jobs, save some money, and come back to school in the fall. Good plan. I don't think she ever asked Royden or Betty if it was okay with them. I know she didn't. Sherry's family, Betty and Royden, her mom and dad, her older sister, Carol, they had these cute little pet names for each other. Cher was Shushy. Linda, AKA Winnie the Pooh. Linda was in high school and a very energetic cheerleader who practiced her cartwheels and high jumps all the time. Pooh had a dog. I have to tell you about her dog. Tralfaz Yuck. Did I say that right? Was his name? A beautiful, shiny, large, wine-colored pointer. She'd hold in the rocking chair for hours, legs like this. Tralfaz, like other dogs, hung out most of the time, except when he'd have the need to point at birds, squirrels, bunnies. There he was, pointing. He was a funny dog. This family, this amazing family, accepted me immediately. They were generous and kind and so loving. They were humorous and creative and talented. Heiko and Pooh played the guitar. Betty played the piano. Music was everywhere. Everybody sang. Betty and Royden had met up in Central City, singing at the Opera House. They were like professionals. And at any moment of the day or night, one of them would break into song and all the rest of them, including Tralfaz, would automatically join in. It was fantastic, and I loved it. Best summer ever. Now, the jobs that we were able to acquire were a little inadequate to save $250 for the next semester at CSU. But never fear, Royden was on it. He was a businessman and traveled a bit. So one day he comes home and announces that we should join United Airlines. He's waving the Denver Post over his head, reading a full-page ad that said in big letters, UAL, United Airlines hiring stewardesses. Girls, he says, this is the job you've been waiting for. The ad says they want to hire the girl next door. Oh, that's you, he says. And you are so cute, they will hire you in a minute. They will teach you to be charming and sophisticated. You'll fly all over the country. One day you'll be in New York, the next day San Francisco, LA. You will love it, and you will make excellent stewardess. That's the Latin plural, right? Then he grabs Betty, waltzes her around the kitchen, singing and shouting, and Betty and I will travel the world on Sherry's passes. He knew all about that. So we look at each other and we say, really, you think? It sounded a lot better than disbudding carnations at Holberg's greenhouses in the sweltering heat. So we donned on our little dresses, put on our high heel shoes and little white gloves, and went for the interview. And what do you know? They hired us. Who knew? So off we flew to stew school in Chicago. And Royden, well, he and Betty flew off into the sunset on shining silver wings on Sherry's passes.
Thank you. Get over there. Hi, I've been asked to read a poem that Sherry wrote upon the death of her really, really, really good friend, like one of her best friends, another best friend. Yeah, name of Kathy Crowley, who many of you know, and this was like 11 years ago. Yeah. And Sherry wrote this poem, and I had the honor of reading it. Kathy, I looked into the setting sun and thought of many things, of adventures we have flown to on shining silver wings. And how about our car trips? The auto we would load with clothes and golf clubs and music, and then we'd hit the road. Downhill skis, cross-country skis, snowshoes, bikes, or bus. Where we were heading mattered not. what made it great was us. Through this life, we've had such fun, laughed till we were weak. In times of grief and painful loss, healing together we'd seek. On this journey we call life, I've learned so much from you. There's a whole wide world outside of ourselves to relax and enjoy the view. Through books and museum, architecture and art, the blessings of this earth abound. And we wonder if God loves us. Take a hike and look around. A new adventure lies ahead. As you said, we do not know. On this journey that awaits us, who will be the first to go? I do know that we'll be present with God. There'll be laughter and joy and learning. To think of us buddies together there sets my heart to yearning. We'll have come full circle, though I have little knowledge of what life in heaven brings. I've a feeling we'll be taken there on shining silver wings. Till then, the loss, I must admit, will leave such a sadness inside. Remember, we must. What have you said? Hasn't it been a great ride? And Cece and I, on behalf of all of you and all of everyone who Sherry has ever known. This is to Casey and JJ. These past couple of years have been so difficult for you too. We so appreciate the love that you gave your mother, who loved you so much. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Diane Oliver, and I'm here to talk about our wonderful organization, Clip Wings, which is for retired United and Continental flight attendants. And it was started to keep the friendships that we developed on the airplane going even after we retired, or earlier when we had to quit to be married. So, what we're going to do today is our yellow rose ceremony, which we do for members who have passed. And each one of us will put a rose in one of these vases up here. And they're yellow roses because our colors are yellow and blue. Yellow for the sunshine that we bring to the world, to other people in the world. And blue for the skies, blue skies. So if those of you with roses would come around this side, put your rose in a vase here and go around the back side. And I have one for myself. I have a few others for gals who couldn't be here.
Oh my God, I'm standing here outside. Taking fun. The dark is green. Oh, Jesus. Me. Me. Me.
We need this in order to sing. Sherry, her faith, as you're hearing, is not high in the sky always, but she knew life is sometimes up and sometimes down. And she accepted that as part of the journey. So which is inspires us, and these two songs kind of represent that we're going to sing and play, represent that kind of beautiful tension.
If I feel left out,
Yeah, you needed to read this.
my grandkids would be so proud, so proud.
This is the air I breathe. This is the air I breathe. Your holy presence living in me. This is my daily bread. This is my daily bread. Your very word spoken to me. And now I'm desperate for you. And now I'm lost without you. This is the air I breathe. This is the air I breathe.
Your holy This is my daily bread. This is my daily bread. Your bread. So can me. And I'm desperate for you. For you. And I'm lost without you. This is the air I breathe. This is the air I breathe. This is the air I breathe. I love you, Lord, for your mercy never fails me. In all my days, I've been held in your hand from the moment that I wake up till I lay my head. Oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so. Every breath that I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire, the darkest night. You are close like no other. Known you as a father, known you as a friend. I have lived in the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so. Every breath that I will sing of the goodness of God. Sorry. Your goodness is running out. It's running out after me. Your goodness is running out. It's running out to me. For my life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running out. It's running out to me. And all my life you have been good. All my life it's all so good. Every breath I will sing of the goodness of God. I will sing of the goodness of God.
I just want to say before we end, so we have a few more things. Before we end, I'd love to get a picture of all of you in your hats from up here because it's quite something.
Since this is the serious part, I need my reading glasses. Oh, wrong ones, wrong ones. I want to have you think about one word as I've listened to everybody sharing about my sister-in-law. There's one word I'd like to put as kind of a banner over the few thoughts I have. It's the word lavish. Lavish. This is what the New Testament says about God's love. See what great love the Father has lavished on us, that we should be called children of God. And that is what we are. Dear friends, now we are children of God, but what we will be has not yet been made known. But we know that when Christ appears, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. See what great love the Father has lavished on us. God lavishes love on us so that we can lavish love on others. And usually that starts with lavishing it, ironically, on yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, you're not going to love others very well. Jesus said you should love others as you love yourself. That means you have to love yourself because God loves you. So why argue with him? You're lovable. You're adorable. He's head over heels with you. And if you don't believe that, ask yourself, did Sherry think you were lovable, adorable, and was she head over heels over you? Well, if she can be that way, she is a reflection of God. A reflection of God and God's love as it was demonstrated in Christ, and also demonstrated by a follower of Jesus named St. Francis. My good friend Marcia Schultz shared this with me. I had never heard this. I'm going to read it from a short excerpt from a book called Francis, The Journey and the Dream. St. Francis, it's talking about someone to love, someone to care for. It was that thought that gripped Francis that Christmas. He decided to celebrate the birth of Jesus in a new way. This may be surprising to you. He had brought a real ox and an ass to the altar so that they too could share in the rebirth of Christ, in the bread and the wine of the Christmas Eucharist. This is where we get the manger scene. It was St. Francis who brought that together. At Christmas, it was the infant Jesus who was born again in human hearts, and it struck Francis that God came to earth as a baby so that we would have someone to care for. Christmas was the dearest of feasts because it meant that God was now one of us, flesh of our flesh, bone of our bone. This child we could approach without fear. We could be silly and uninhibited as we sought to make him laugh. We could be totally ourselves because a child accepts us just as we are and screams with delight at our little performances in his or her behalf. Someone to care for, someone to love. I felt like that was Sherry. She had a deep need to care for people. She loved everyone she met, as we've heard so many times here today. Someone to love and someone to care for. And at the center of her life, however incompletely, and she would be the first to say it, at the center of her life, the someone she was caring for and the someone she was loving was Jesus, the incarnation of the love of God. I wrote something as I was thinking about this time of sharing with you, and I wrote it as I was hiking in Santa Barbara, just sort of off the cuff. And now I have to see if I can find it. You gotta love this stuff, don't you? This is what I wrote. There was nothing average about Sherry. Nothing boring. She cared for others with a reckless abandon. She lived to make others laugh, whether it was the talking bass, which was triggered by remote control as you walk by it on the wall, or of course the silly hats. I have to admit, I was always reticent to put on a silly hat. Once I had it on my head, though, I, like everyone else, took on a new character. She made me have fun even when I didn't want to. And she did it with a big smile and a hearty laugh. How could you turn it down? And she would help you, even when you honestly didn't need it. And you told her so. It didn't matter. She would help you and everyone else she met. Sometimes it was honestly annoying, but it was hard not to see the deep desire within her heart to help others, even to her own detriment. She was nothing short of sacrificial, even if it wasn't needed. In one sense, she was a huge contradiction. In another sense, she was completely consistent. There was nothing average about Sherry. So as I think of her, I listen to all that you all have been sharing, it hits me that I missed so much while she was here. I missed so much of her, so it's been a joy to see her through the eyes of others. And we hope at the reception this evening, this afternoon, you'll be able to see Sherry through others' eyes as you share further stories about her. She showed up, as Angela said. She was complicated and she liked to live on the edge of things. That sounds a lot like Jesus. He showed up, he was complicated, and wow, did he like to live on the edge of everything. May we do so as well. Thank you.
We're going to sing one more hymn together. Great is thy faithfulness. And I was amazed when we did that last hymn, how wonderful you sound. We got to start a choir here or something. Funny hat choir. I gotta get this thing.
Those of you who wish to stand, those of you who are able to stand, some of us have trouble getting up from the pew. Feel free. And if you want to sit, that's great too. We don't care.
Pray for children and my house. Blessings on
While we're all standing, let's bow for the benediction. And now may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious toward you. May the Lord lift up the light of his countenance upon you and give you peace. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen. Thank you. We want to invite you to stick around for some hats and some snacks and some fellowship. So
All in the basement.
all in the basement, yes.
One picture, make your most glorious faces. Oh, fine. Right. Thank you.
Yay, thank you.
All right.
all right here. So
Yeah. Coming in a very free.
Okay.
Yep.
And you might know, you don't. With the strawberry, but, like he has done more my teacher in the last 5 years than anybody else. I'm not Catholic.
My wife and I would go. Yeah. The main thing is so. And when it's been a low temperature, so kind of get nondescript, fellowship hall, with maybe chairs and something. And he's not a smoking guy, right? He go through several. And I'm thinking, but no, I think yeah, and I looked around and I don't know if he was concentrating. Now, what's your so hot fire. You can't leave the flock, you can't make trouble. But what you said about James Finley, my brother thought he was like, and I was like, and Ken looked at me. And then being in the traffic. Right, project on Earth, I don't know what so wait a minute, I know he studied in well, Richard, yeah, I'll let you guys. Yeah.
I don't know where, hold on.
Yeah, thank you for coming. I know you're in pain. I feel so bad for your pain. We're gonna pray for you Wednesday. Yeah, I do. There's a pad of paper right here left.
My phone, does anybody know my phone? And there was
That it?
yes. Oh my gosh. You did?
Stoked to see
Yeah,
you. I didn't
he's
tell
like,
him that you're, I know. Thank you for coming.
I love you too. Thanks for coming. You're
Appreciate it. JJ, I have to hug you.
yes.
I wrote you a couple of times.
Okay.
Where she was gonna be moved.
Oh, did you come and help? Thank you for everything. That's
No, but what I wanted to share with you is I have rescue dogs and Sherry said, you're just like my daughter JJ. She loves dogs.
yeah, I did. Mine's sitting in the car in the parking lot right now. In
Uh-oh.
fact.
Well, mine's with the neighbor. I have two. I just
Ah,
got a
good.
Baltic-Poo and then I have a Aussie Lab, but I just thought, you know, you and I have the same heart, but we never really got to meet.
And
Other
what's your
than
name? I'm sorry.
Sherry Thayer.
Oh, yes, I know your name. Yes,
Yes.
sir. Oh, yes. Thank you
I'm
so
the
much.
one that adopted the little girl from Nepal.
Okay.
That's how everybody knows.
Okay.
When I was old, when I was 46,
Good for you. Oh, my goodness.
and she's having a baby in December.
Oh, my gosh. Congratulations.
So
That's
excited.
fantastic.
But,
Thank you for
you
saying
know,
hi.
we could all say wonderful stories about Sherry, but you're part of her. And you're gonna carry on that Lebanon and.
And do my best.
Yeah, well, we could follow that show.
Whew. Yeah, no, big shoes to fill, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll do it, but you'll
Thank
be
you.
you, and
Yes.
that's what she wants.
Yeah.
But I just remember, the first time I met her, she was so sweet, and we both named Sherry, and we were laughing about that. And we worked together, and then all of a sudden, she said the most incredibly wicked thing, and we're all just cracking up, and I'm going,
Sounds like her.
yeah.
Yeah.
I said, she could just be sweet as can be, and then wicked came out.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Just some funny jokes. But anyway,
Thank you, Sherry. Thanks for saying hi.
nice. It
Nice
was
to
hard
see
for
you.
you to get up there, I think. You
Yeah.
did a great
Woo.
job.
It's been a rough go.
Is there anything you need?
This stuff could go downstairs too.
With the
Yeah, but. Bring mom downstairs.
All right, Jake.
You're like, oh, oh my goodness. Really grateful that you made it.
It was so good. You did a beautiful job.
It's like all those stories in the car.
I
I know. Well, like a bunch of people here, like, Gosh, I remember all that. I know. Yeah, I remember when we took your mom's car and you drove me home. Yeah, remember when I got pulled over. I remember how we were supposed to. No, she let me, and then she's so mad. If all I did is take Lisa home, it would have been fine, but I decided without a license that I was gonna teach Lisa how to drive on the way home. And Lisa was driving, and then a cop pulled up behind us, and she freaked out and stopped and got out of the car and made me switch seats with her, which of course looked super stinky. It was so, and so then the guy was like, "Yeah, I'm pulling you over. Why did you just do that?" And then mom was like, "You did what now?" I'm so mad. No, yeah, it was pretty funny. That was so funny. That's really good. Yeah. That was a good one. Yeah. Guys. It's been a hard last year for sure. The last year, so I'm glad we got to do this. It's time to settle. So anyway,
Something here happened. Lots of people.
yeah. Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe all the flight attendants. That was so funny. Oh, I know, that was, well, we thought about, she lived in Santa Barbara in the end, and we thought about, like, my family was like, why don't we just do one here with the family? I'm like, because there's like 8 million people that I know want to go. We have to go back to Colorado, we have to. So we flew the whole family from like Santa Barbara and all else to come here. Literally, we're staying in a house across the street from Eric Schmidt's childhood house. What? I could throw a rock like right across the street. In fact, I have to go over and say hi to his mom because it'd be too weird. I'm so close to it. Which is weird because it's like in the hood. Yeah, it's like kind of so Airbnb. Yeah. Yeah. So it's kind of crazy. That's crazy. Anyway. And Mike and Joe. I haven't seen Mike forever. So yeah, it's good. Are you guys gonna join us downstairs or heading out? I think we're gonna go. Don't worry. How long are you gonna be here? I'm here till Friday. I'm driving. Yeah, I drove here. I had a bunch of stuff to bring, so I drove with my dog, and then I can only kind of drive on a weekend because of work. So yeah. So then you can drive back on the weekend. Justin's here. I know I haven't seen that. I texted him when my mom died, and so I haven't seen him for a while. I was gonna say hi to him. Bye. Sometimes I'm so grateful that you were all. Yeah. Okay. Love you too. Hi guys. See you later. Oh, Agnes, hi.
How are you, sweetie? Nice to see you. Yeah, for sure. You're taking it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my eyes.
I know, I forget. I know you. I forget. I should have.
But you look wonderful. Look at your hair on the ball.
I know.
Your
Right?
mom would love it. I'm so proud of you.
I know.
Oh,
Yeah.
she said, you know what they say, the better drink.
Yeah.
I hope so.
She did. Yeah. 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 It was at the very end, and that was like a relief for everybody. Yeah. I know it.
But you guys did a great job.
Thank you.
Wonderful seeing you all.
All right, we'll see you down. I gotta go unplug the everything. Have your photo. Oh, yes. Yeah, let's walk together. I'm not gonna walk with us.
Sweet.